those that aren't as familiar with Cambodia, or maybe their familiarity with Cambodia was a long time ago, and obviously a lot has changed as well. What would be your message or invitation to our friends around the world?
Yeah, it's always interesting to see. I meet some Cambodians in France. Some say, "Oh, I will never go back after all that happened," and some say, "Oh, I came back, and it's so different from the early '70s." And yeah, it's a country that has evolved. No country is stays where it is. So, of course, for those who knew this or that period, it leaves positive or negative feelings. But I would say, yeah, probably the culture is still there. Everything is unchanged, but the country has changed a lot. I mean, especially the urban centers. So, I don't know, we say préjugés in French. You have ideas that are very set, but by visiting, you can revise completely your perspective and adapt to a reality that is today's reality.
Good morning, Cambodia. It is a good day to be alive in the Kingdom of Cambodia. Good things happening. And we're thrilled to have you with us wherever you are. Thank you for taking your time to zoom in on Cambodia. And we are alive and well. And Cambodia's alive and well. And we're excited to bring you into what Cambodia is all about, of course, including our lives and then some of the very special, unique things happening right here in Cambodia. And great to be here this morning with Alexis de Suremain. And Alexis, it's great to have you this morning. Alexis is the founder of MADS, pioneer and leader in hospitality in Cambodia. Since 2001, 2002, right around that time is when you first got here, Alexis, and here we are today. So looking forward to sharing some of the stories, some of the insights, and some good conversation. Welcome, Alexis.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts about my own destination now, which is Cambodia and Phnom Penh in particular.
Yeah, so Alexis, born in France, born in a diplomatic family.
Yeah, I was born in
global
Paris,
travels from a young age, right?
And yeah, I was born in France 58 years ago already.
Yeah, we're all young.
Yeah. And spent 17 years in Russia and former USSR, so a long time there. Spent 22 years in Cambodia, so that's the country I've spent most of my life.
Yeah, wow, incredible. So, yeah, you have lived abroad for, a large portion of your life, many different countries, and then in the latter part of 2001 into the beginning of 2002, somewhere in there, you ended up in Cambodia.
Right.
What's that story and how did that happen?
So at the time I was working for an NGO called Pharmacists Without Borders.
Yep.
I have an interesting way because usually people go from NGOs to business. I was in business before. Spent a lot of years in Russia working in Nizhny Novgorod.
Yep.
And doing business there. And then from there, I went to Pharmacists Without Borders, spent almost 11 years with them. And I was in Moldova before, and there was an opportunity to come to Cambodia because the head of mission here had to go on maternity leave. So she had a 3-month maternity leave, and they needed somebody to take over during those 3 months.
Yeah.
So I arrived in, I think it was January 2002 for 3 months.
Okay.
And
And you'd never been
I
before
missed.
that?
I lost my return ticket. I don't know what happened. And
serious?
No, but I'm still here. So initially it was a 3-month contract, and I ended up here. So I continued for a few years with Pharmacists Without Borders because she didn't come back and so on. And then I decided to get back to business. So then I started various businesses, but I could never completely forget the NGO part of me. So even like last year, I did a mission for Oxfam in the Tonle Sap. And so we always kept a lot of activities related to non-profits and cultural promotion and all sorts of things like that. So I'm one of the few people who are completely built from the two cultures, the NGO non-profit and business orientation. So I'm always on both of these identities.
Yeah. So back in 2002, that was quite early, and there was the need and the opportunity for important humanitarian work. Pharmacists Without Borders, I'm familiar with them, of course. And so you came over at that time, and I remember what it was like, back in 2001, 2002. There's still a lot of need, and honestly, anywhere in the world, there's need and there's opportunity to help people out, support, and even more strategic endeavors of eliminating poverty and need and things like that. So you came over. At that time, focused initially the first couple years on the humanitarian side of things.
Yeah, Pharmacists Without Borders was very much specialized in sexually transmitted diseases at the time, which is a topic I'm not very, I don't really enjoy working in, and so I didn't try to stay too long on that. Before that, in Moldova, we were on pediatrics, children hospitals and things like that, which I found a lot more stimulating for me. And I was thinking that it's a wrong thing to put a male responsible for a mission on sexually transmitted diseases because it's linked to a lot of male misbehavior, I would say. So you share some of the guilt, and so it makes it you're very biased in the. So it's a complicated topic.
Sure. Yeah.
But I didn't feel very comfortable in that particular activity.
Right.
I thought Children's Hospital, I was in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan on supplies, improving medical supplies to hospitals. I felt a lot more comfortable in those things.
Yeah. So 2002, leading, the work of Pharmacists Without Borders here in Cambodia for a couple years, but you're here with your family as well. And of course, living in Cambodia, and those were somewhat early days. The reason I say it's early days is because Cambodia had its first elections in 93. And so that was, less than 10 years. And, there were some growing pains in becoming stable and all of that, and even some of those earlier years. And so that was still quite early. You're here with your family. You're leading, some humanitarian work here as well. But you also had a background in business as well. So you had your eyes open as well. And what kind of happened during those first couple years that I know were key stepping stones to what the journey has been, of course, for the MADS brand and everything that you've done and pioneered to a large degree here in hospitality as well?
Well, it has been really interesting and spontaneous experiences. The very first business we opened was called Elsewhere. And it was just a real estate guy telling us, hey, you really should look at this property there. My wife always wanted to do some fashion related activities, clothing and stuff like that. And a real estate guy showed us the villa on Pasteur Street that was going to become our first business, and we called it Elsewhere. It was really because of the opportunity of this beautiful villa.
Yeah. So real estate guy says, hey, there's this beautiful villa right here kind of in the center of town.
Yep.
You should do something about it with it.
Yeah. And so it was a very inspiring place, and we started from there, and it went quite well. And at the time, my wife had another partner in business, and the activity of the closing and a few parties that we started the first Elsewhere First Friday parties. Those who were there here in those days would still remember those parties. Yep. Once a month, we'd throw a party, and many people would come.
Yeah, what was for those that wouldn't be familiar? What became of that?
It was
villa,
kind of
which became called Elsewhere. What was that?
It was a kind of a pool party with DJ, and then people would come. We had a very small pool. The pool was 3 meters by 8, so you see, it was really small.
Yeah.
And people would come, and we'd have parties. But it was the only regular party in the country, and it was apparently the only regular party in the peninsula. So at the end, people would fly from Bangkok for the first Friday of the month, and some people would sometimes come by bus from Ho Chi Minh City. And it became something
for the monthly
really
parties.
For the monthly parties. And then we lost.
And these were held at the villa with the pool right here in the middle of town.
Beautiful garden.
Yeah.
And then at one point, the long story, but the villa was sold and so on. So we tried to do the same kind of parties, but moving from one place to the other, which was quite fun because we did twice at the railway station, and we had a train go away, and we had parties in the rice fields. We were selling tickets to nowhere. And end up in the rice fields in the middle of the night, and girls with high heels would go in the mud and we'd party in the rice fields. So it was a bit crazy. Yeah.
Wow. And so this was what, like 2004, 2005, somewhere around there?
No, there was 2008.
2008. Okay. Yeah. 2008. Okay. Yeah.
And pulling steam engines in near the with wagons and having rock bands on the wagons and steam from the DJ inside the steam engine chimney. Yeah, it was really, we had a lot of fun. So it started
with the villa, and then it moved to events at all of these unique locations in the city, outside the city, on different angles, different
floating platforms in the river. Those big platforms for the passengers. We turned that into dance floor also. So a lot of fun things.
And these weren't just for those based here locally. These kind of became regionally well-known.
Some people were coming from outside. Some people. We rented the top floor of the Canada Tower also when there was a crazy party up there with crazy drummers on the corners of the tower on top. A lot of fun.
So it started with someone saying, hey, there's this villa here, little tiny pool with a nice garden, you ought to do something.
Yeah.
And so that got the wheels turning, right?
Yeah.
Of, well, what could we do with it, right?
Correct.
And that turned into events there, and then realizing, hey, this actually works pretty well.
Yep.
And that grew there at the Elsewhere location, of course. But then from there,
when we lost the house, we had to find other locations. So we were trying to change but at that time it was still okay to make noise in the middle of the city. As you said, it was the very early days. Now you would not be allowed to do things like that.
Right.
Put 5,000 watts of speakers somewhere, and then nobody could sleep in 500 meters around us. So that were the early days.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. It's unique. Rather than you kind of being here, living here, saying, hey, where are all the events, and why doesn't somebody put together some events? You kind of said, we could do this. And that wasn't necessarily even your background.
Not at all.
Right? But just something that could be done and give it a go. And it flourished for many, many years.
Yeah.
So then what did that kind of lead to after that?
So same story for the Pavilion, which was a real estate guy telling me, hey, you should have a look at this house. It's really interesting. You like heritage buildings. And
Pavilion was kind of a heritage type villa as well, right? Yeah.
So the guy told me, "Hey, you like heritage buildings? Have a look at this one." So I visited the place. It was very small. There were two bedrooms upstairs, and that's it. And garage at the back and parking in the front. And I said, "Yeah, the building is very interesting, but it's too small."
Yeah.
And then so the agent introduced me to the owner, and the owner told me, I had this villa. I started knocking down the whole villa, so the roof was gone. So there was no roof at all.
Yeah.
Because I was knocking it down, and I had this dream, and that I should not demolish the villa, and we should do something about it. So I stopped the demolition.
Did his dream include this French guy named Alexis coming to meet him?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not gay, so
Right.
so probably I was not the one. But so he had this vision of doing something with that villa instead of demolishing it. So he was looking for somebody to make use of it.
Right.
So
he initially
that was
planned to demolish it. Then he had his dream.
That was in
demolish
2005.
Yep.
And so I told him, there are not many boutique hotels in Phnom Penh, and it would be nice to do something, but we would need at least 10 rooms, and there are only 2. And he said, so we started working together, and interestingly, he had this architect or builder working with him that had been trained in Russia. So he told me, "Here, this is my builder." So I started talking to the guy. His
Cambodian builder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but trained in Russia.
Yeah.
Spoke Russian.
Yeah, that's what I found out.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't speak Khmer, and his English was poor. And
Yeah.
then suddenly I realized, hey, he's fluent in Russian. So we started talking, and then so we got along very well because the communication was easy.
No language gap,
and he had the trust of the the owner, landlord. And so the landlord paid for the construction that I was needing to operate a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky in that because it's the landlord who arranged the whole setup that I could operate a boutique hotel. So I didn't have to do the investment. I didn't have the money.
Right.
So I had I bought only the furniture. There were no TVs in the rooms and no fridge, there was really minimum. But as we were the first one, it went quite well.
Right.
Then I told him, it's too small, 10 rooms. I need to get the villa next door. And do you allow me to break the wall between the two if I manage to convince the landlord? And he said, no, you talk to no one. Let me deal with that. And so he came back after maybe 2 weeks, and he said, I bought the villa next door.
I bought the villa. I've solved the problem.
Wow. So then you can have it. I said, but we have not negotiated the price or anything. No, don't worry. So then I said, but we need something unique. So we need swimming pools. So we need 4 swimming pools for each of the rooms downstairs to have private pools.
Yeah.
And he said, that's going to cost you that more every month.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the pools for you.
Yeah.
So he did the pools for me, and then that's how we started. So he was kind of the person who helped a lot. I mean, he made a very good I calculated the amount of money he's made with that house since we pay rent.
Yeah.
I think we paid close to 6 times the price he paid to buy the land.
Yeah, over
in
all
rental
these years.
over all these
so
years.
He's made a good return on his investment as well. Yeah. So you came here with your family. You were doing humanitarian work. You begin to see different kind of opportunities here as an individual living here in Phnom Penh. Real estate guy comes, says, "Hey, you're a foreigner. You should look at this." You start to have the ideas for the events, run the events for many years. And then again, as a businessman here in town, another one says, "Hey, you should look at this heritage house over here." And that turned into Pavilion.
Yeah, but to be very honest, it's more the opportunities that came to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're a businessman here in town, and
I don't want to say I've been passive. No, it's not the word. But I was lucky that things came to me.
Yeah. So as someone that you have your family here in Cambodia, you're running different businesses here in Cambodia. This came to you
for these early businesses. Yes. Then I started digging myself. But in the first opportunities, I must be very honest, I was lucky to have them come to me.
Yeah. And it sounded like you had a great partner with the landlord there. Very easy to work with.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And so
Still is. I met him 2 days ago, and then,
Yeah. And that's, by the way, that's one of the very special attributes of Cambodia is the people, of course, and welcoming us as outsiders, into their homes, into their societies, finding workable solutions for different business collaborations and things like that.
Was a bit tough during COVID when we had difficulties in paying lease, so the tension started to grow a little bit.
Yeah. Everyone was a bit stressed,
but it's smoothened out.
Yeah.
But there were moments, I would say, when not just for me, but for everyone during COVID, especially in the hospitality world, when you don't have international travelers anymore at all.
At all. Yeah, no flights coming in, of course. Yeah.
Owners see that you don't pay the rent sometimes.
Yeah, and they may be feeling their own pressures for whatever reasons as well.
They also have, because they live on, some people live on rental.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's been an interesting time, but that's when you see that even though there were sometimes moments, but that, as you said, people like to smoothen things here.
Yeah.
And I have this feeling that the relationship is stronger now than it was. I wouldn't say it was weak before, but this whole overcoming these crises was the bonds are strong.
Yeah. You've
Probably
gone
stronger.
through the crisis. And hopefully no more, but you've gone through the crisis. And
but then they see that you've made the effort to compensate somehow, and some of it we paid back, and so you create. Of course, it's been 18 years, so it's a strong relationship.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. So fast forward to now. Tell me about.
Whoa.
Yeah. We're going to do a big leap. And fast forward to now. Talk about what has happened since Pavilion, project number 1. Well, before that, obviously elsewhere and the events, but then as far as boutique hotel, very high end. I've enjoyed Pavilion myself as well. To now, go through some of the different businesses and projects that you've been involved in over the last several years. Now.
Okay, so in terms of hotels, we did the Bikki, which was a hotel dedicated to kids and families.
Yep.
Because I was accused by a lot of people of being a bit fascist with the Pavilion. I even had a paper there was a newspaper called Cambodia Daily. They did a whole page on me saying I'm a fascist because I don't accept Khmer children in the hotel. And then I said, I'm even worse than that, because even those who are not Khmer I also don't accept. So it's
not focused on children. Yeah.
It's focused on children. So it was an adult-only hotel, romantic. Nothing weird was happening there. It was very conservative, but it's just.
But they just didn't want little kids running around. That wasn't the.
I didn't want the noise and the disturbance of the kids, but I was also very concerned about the private swimming pools. Without the Pavilion has. At the moment, Pavilion has 6 swimming pools. And so the risk is high. And a lot of unsupervised areas and so on. So I decided that this hotel would be without kids.
Yep.
And I even one day got a letter from the UNICEF complaining about this. And I thought, it's really unfair, because there are hotels in Cambodia, not just in Cambodia, but everywhere, which don't accept children and women. And, there are 2 in Cambodia which accept only men, and nobody bothers them. But for me, I accept women. And so anyway, I decided to open a hotel dedicated to families.
So that was Bikki. And that was here in Phnom Penh as well.
Yeah, it was just less than 100 meters from Pavilion. And it was completely dedicated. We had pizzas in the shape of clowns. We had 2 swimming pools, so that the one would be very shallow. The other one was a little less shallow. But a lot of things really dedicated to children and families. Because I felt, I had to do something for the families after rejecting them at Pavilion. And so then we had the Blue Lime, which was a bit of an industrial setup near the Royal Palace. And then we had...
So that was another one right here in Phnom Penh as well.
Another one we did in the 240 was a hotel of 10 rooms in Street 240. It lasted maybe 5-6 years. We had another one, which was an Elsewhere hotel on Street 278. Then we did a big one for us, which was Plantation, 84 rooms. So that was a kind of a big project, which was interesting because I managed to put in there a lot of art-related activities with exhibitions, openings almost every month and a half. So we were quite active with this. We had the Malibu bungalows in Sihanoukville for maybe 2 years, Mayura Hotel in Mondulkiri for 1 year, Kirira Mountain Lodge for 3-4 years, Templation Hotel in Siem Reap that we still operate, Island Center Point on the Korong Salem that we operate now. We're working on one in near Kulen Mountains on the side of Beng Melia Temple, in a beautiful location with a wat, which is called Phnom Bay, absolutely stunning place. What else? So these are for the hotels, but then we've been very active on the cultural side, and that's the part that is interesting to me. We've had Chinese House, which was also a heritage building. So we renovated 3 heritage buildings in Phnom Penh: Pavilion, 4 Pavilion, Elsewhere, Chinese House, and Plantation.
These were heritage homes that were renovated.
Yeah. And some of them with the help of French historic architects, to help us identify how they were in the 20s, 30s, and putting them back into exactly their original shape. So it was quite an interesting journey, I would say. But so Chinese House was a place for exhibitions, performances. We had Bokator, we had Phar Pon Le Circus, we've had punk groups from Beijing. We've had all sorts of things. So that lasted almost 10 years, I think. And we stopped just before COVID. So then now we do I work a lot on bioclimatic architecture, recycling construction materials, floating solutions. We have a floating restaurant.
Floating restaurant here.
We work on converting containers into discarded containers into floating solutions. And, we work a lot on floating, on recycling, on. So I have a team of designers and architects who are working specifically on this. At the moment, we are converting a water tower, repurposing a water tower into a cafe and a room.
So I'm gonna interrupt because all of this is very unique, and obviously throughout the last many years, the way you see things is unique. I can say that. We're friends, and it's a genuine compliment. That the way that you see.
I have an answer to that.
Yes, and so that's what I want to hear. What is your kind of framework? What is your little formula of how you see things here in Cambodia? And again, you shared how you first got started, but it seems like you have had and you've continued to maintain and develop kind of a certain way of seeing things, thinking about things, kind of a framework of how you look at things here.
Yeah. As I was telling you just before we started this conversation, the one thing I have is I know my weaknesses. Maybe not all, but at least some of them I know. And I know I'm not a great architect. I'm not a great designer. I'm not a hotelier. I'm not a restaurant manager. And so there's no way I can compete with real professionals. If you have somebody who's a real designer, a real architect, he beats me in creativity or in hotel management or anything. So
all right. So that's
my awareness is that I am not any of those. So I can only go to activities and directions where there is no strong competition. Because otherwise I will fail. If
you can't compete with those sectors. A good
example would be Aquation office spaces in
Right.
Koki Bikki. We have about 100 offices there.
And for those that aren't aware, this is a very
Green.
nice green waterfront office space right here in the middle of Phnom Penh.
Right.
It's a kind of a little oasis right here in the middle of Phnom Penh. Yeah.
So one thing I'm good at, and one thing I'm better at than other people, is finding the locations. But that's the only thing I'm better than other people about. That's the only thing. I can find the locations better and faster and the better locations than anybody else.
Interesting.
And that I have this talent. But then all of the other things, I'm very weak. And I don't know how to operate a hotel properly. I don't know how to design an office space properly. I don't know how to operate a restaurant properly. None of, you would never go to any of my restaurants and say, oh, this is the best food I've ever had. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
So same thing for the hotel rooms. They're not the best hotel rooms you've seen. I mean, so I try to do things where I don't have competition. So I try to be original because I know that if I have competition, I'll fail. And if you give a space like Aquation to a real team of architects that will really design the circulations, the roofs, the windows, everything, design them properly in the interior design. That we don't have an interior design at all. People just come and put their tables there and full stop.
Yeah.
But if you have a real professional doing a green office space in the middle of Phnom Penh, I'm dead. So I'm doing things that other people are not doing because I'm not to their level. And I have to be very aware every time I do a project that, I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not to the level of professionals.
Right.
So I need to be very, very aware of this in order not to make mistakes. Not try to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah. And so you have discovered all of these gems, niches, all throughout Cambodia, not just Phnom Penh, a lot in Phnom Penh, of course, but all throughout Cambodia.
Yeah.
Your eyes have caught them. You've taken the task and the risk of going in and securing these locations.
1% of those I've found,
Yeah. But they, they stand out all throughout Cambodia as well, and both people locally that are living here, that have lived here over the years, as well as people from all around the world have enjoyed your various locations as well.
Yeah, I did a calculation a few days ago because I needed to convince that we are able to attract people because I try to be a voice in the tourism industry.
Yep.
And I was making a very rough projection of how many people have slept in our beds.
Yeah.
And since
so
we
what's
started,
the rough projection?
It was 600,000 people.
600,000 people.
People slept in our beds.
Yeah.
So
that's an accomplishment. Absolutely.
Not all were blondes, but
yeah. 600,000. All that's incredible. Let's just briefly, who's visiting Cambodia? Look, you and I both know we live in a big world. There's a lot of destinations all around the world. Your story of coming here, and I have my story of coming here, and families and living, and all of that is very doable, which you and I can witness to, can attest to. But then even just visiting, who's visiting Cambodia? Who are those 600,000 people?
It's tricky. It's a long and complicated question. If you have a clear answer on that, then you can solve the issue of tourism in Cambodia. So it's a very vast topic. And the reasons why people come here for 2-3 days to visit or stay 10 years or 15 are very almost opposite.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so I would say Phnom Penh is a very easy city to sell for living. I mean, why are you here so long? Why am I here so long? I mean, it's very clear. There are so many things that would we want to live in neighboring cities? I have an apartment in Bangkok. I could go and live there if I don't know, but so it's a choice, and
Phnom Penh is livable. Cambodia is livable.
Yeah, the question for me is it visitable? So livable, my answer is very clear. I mean, I could lay 100 reasons why I'm here, and I've been thinking about it. So it's not just emotional; it's also rational, both emotional and rational. Now the question is for travelers, what's the traction? And that's Angkor has been the magnet.
Yep.
But it overshadows the rest of the country. I always say it's the luck and the curse of Cambodian tourism.
This is an important statement that you made there as well, Alexis, that, of course, Angkor is the attraction. There's only one Angkor Wat in the world, and it's in Cambodia, right? But I like that statement that to a degree, it overshadows the rest of what's available here in Cambodia.
Yeah, so that's really a problem because for a lot of people, when they identify Cambodia to Angkor, and more even specifically Angkor Wat.
Yep.
I mean, it's also on the flag of the national country. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And every time you talk about tourism in Cambodia, you always have the picture of Angkor.
Yeah, if you talk about Egypt, you're going to think pyramids.
They use a little less the pyramids because they have a more diverse type of heritage. I mean, if you look at the tombs and the temples, the Valley of the Kings with the tombs and all the temples that are along the Nile have very, very strong identities, which are very different from the pyramids. And they have the hieroglyphs and so on. So the problem is Angkor is what we have here is more temples. So you have Angkor Wat, which is the main one, but you have the rest is most of the heritage is temples again. So it's a more challenging destination to sell, but very much like Egypt, it's an archaeological destination. And
wonder destination.
And then you've seen it, right? Yeah. And the problem is that Angkor is on the bucket list, or at least was on the bucket list of many people which have seen it, and they tick the box, and because they identify Cambodia to Angkor, if they have an Angkor Wat, if they have seen Angkor Wat, they have seen Cambodia, so done. And so it's very difficult.
Is the overshadowing part that you talk about.
So it's very difficult to generate repeating customers, which our neighboring countries don't have. They don't in Vietnam or Thailand. You don't have one big
heritage archaeological site.
That people will identify as the only destination,
especially a bucket list destination.
So for us, and that's where we as the private sector need to come up with more attractions and to diversify the experience of people coming to Cambodia, so that so that people don't identify us just as one temple. Because how long do you need to visit a temple? Even if you really like that temple, 1.5 days. So shortcut 1.5 days to visit Angkor Wat, so 1.5 days to visit Cambodia, and done.
Right.
So that's what we're up against.
Right. So there are other destinations and other things to do in Cambodia besides just the Angkor and the Angkor Wat temples.
Yeah, there are a lot, but we need to reveal them.
Right.
And
so this is what you've been working on, you could say, the last 20 plus years even.
Yeah, the consensus is that we have a lot of things and people don't know. My perception is we haven't revealed them sufficiently, and we need to have people like me, but not just me, hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs to do this job of revealing and making the destination more diverse, and enriching than what it is, so that people could be blown away and would feel the need to come back, because Cambodia is not small, and there are enough things that we could use in the country in order to make it a strong destination.
Right.
Maybe not leading, but at least strong, much stronger.
Destination.
Yeah. I thoroughly believe it. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here.
So this is something that obviously you've been very involved in. There's others involved in. Is there space for people outside the country to come and to, first of all, discover Cambodia, but then potentially be involved in discovering and finding and promoting more of kind of the gyms, the sites, the destinations?
You mean as developers?
Yeah, in any potentially developers or people in the tourism industry. Is there room for people to continue to come into Cambodia and
you mean to work and develop
these sites?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I was just telling you for what I believe is a destination, a strong upcoming destination, the Mekong, which is the second site most well known in Cambodia worldwide. I mean, the Mekong is the 7th most famous river in the world. We haven't really tapped into that yet at all in Cambodia. Vietnam, very scarcely with the floating markets, but they haven't done much. And so, the Mekong is long and wide and should be a major road trip in Asia.
Destination,
and a destination. So, and that would require, there's a space for hundreds of developers of floating hotels, restaurants.
On the mighty Mekong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just one example, but there are many things to do. Yeah.
So this is home for you, Alexis, and part of your story, you could be anywhere in the world, but something has gotten into your heart, over the last 20 plus years. Talk to me a little bit about, as a businessman, as of course, as a husband and a father, you're living here, but you're working with the Cambodian people the last 20 plus years. And so you're part of this society as well. And you're very active in, the hospitality industry here. I know that, even at different levels and, government forums and things like that you have a voice. But putting that, kind of to side, talk about just life interactions with our Cambodian brothers and sisters here. In your experience over the last 20 plus years, have you integrated into Cambodian society to a degree? And what does that look like for you?
I would say that much. I have some Cambodian friends, but not many to the point that I go and visit them or have dinner together at their home. I have some.
Yep.
What could I say about that? People are, it's in every study. It's some of the amongst the nicest people in the world in terms of welcoming and collaborating with. Too much sometimes. Where because you're the boss or you're the authority, they will not tell you when you're wrong. So I have some colleagues that are expats, and when I do something which doesn't make sense, it's the expats will tell me, the foreigners will tell me.
That's a difference in culture there. Yeah.
You're really going in the wrong direction. Your project sucks completely. That will come only from the foreigners. Even the Cambodians that are with us since a long time, they are very reluctant in confronting us so they have ways of expressing things, and yes, but thoroughly they will, you can tell them something that makes no sense and they will follow it.
Yeah.
So I find it a little bit frustrating that they put themselves lower, which the Thais or the Viets are not doing. If you talk to a Thai and he's not happy about what you say, it will bounce into your face immediately. The Cambodians will politely smile and ignore. So it makes the everyday life very pleasant. Professionally, it's more challenging because it relies only on you, right? Because if you go wrong, they will not tell you.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's very strange. And, the collaboration is very strange. So, of course, those who work with you since a very, very, very long time, they dare more.
Right. Easier to get feedback from them on different things. Yeah.
But so that's a huge asset for tourism. I mean, when there was a GIZ report recently, last year, showing that a lot of people were coming here for, and they knew, and the strongest point for making Cambodia their destination was the temples. And then when they leave, you ask the same question, and what did you like most in Cambodia? Was the people.
Wow.
So in the GIZ study, it shows very well because it's quantified, and there are indicators, and they go a little bit deeper. But so people come for the temples, but they leave not because of the people. On the contrary, that's what touched them most.
Right.
So people, we should not be over relying on the people, because there's a big tourism expert called Stéphane Bern in France. He's the mastermind behind a lot of policies in France. And he said, you have to be careful. He was here and he made a conference. Be careful. Don't rely too much on the Cambodian people who are so nice, because we French are the nastiest in the world in terms of welcoming foreign tourists, especially in Paris. We're the really nastiest, and we have 100 or 80 million people visiting us. So there's very little correlation between how you greet people. So if you take it from the French, you have to be nasty, and then maybe people come back. I don't know. But it's an interesting...
all about just the bottom line and about the dollar. Okay, you can say that. But, life, it shouldn't just be about the bottom line either. You can do both. You can have, I like to say, you can have a double bottom line. You can have a bottom line financially, but you can also have it relationally, and right,
completely,
completely.
But it was an interesting,
and I think that's one of the things that keeps us here as well. You can do both. You can have good bottom lines financially. There's plenty of space. There's plenty of opportunity here, but you can also. You can be part of the growth and development of this country, which is kind of cool to be able to look back on. You can look back on what you started with elsewhere many years ago and think, and I know that, humility and appreciation for all of those around, that's how we're wired as well. But at minimum, you can say, I was part of that. And then later on, I was part of this. And later on, I was part of this. And actually, 600,000, visitors later, that is decently significant. And doesn't mean I'm the most awesome person around, but at least I got to be part of it. It's kind of cool,
I found the right location.
Yeah.
I found the right location. These people came, but then I don't want to, use this common thing though. It's the team did it. Yeah, everybody says that in order to look good, but they have done the daily effort.
Sure. Of course.
So I cannot, not say that. They have been doing, and I'd like to, if there's time enough for a small story. Yeah. I went to a nice hotel called Ballet Hotel in Phnom Penh, north of Phnom Penh, and it was for my birthday, and I went there with my wife, my mother-in-law, and the 2 kids. And we asked before, can we bring a cake because it's my birthday, and a bottle of champagne. And then the general manager said, yeah, sure, you can have your own cake and bottle and da-da-da. So at the end of the meal, my mother-in-law was tired, so she went to go on and lay down in a sunbed and fell asleep by the pool. And I was with the 2 kids and my wife, and then the guy comes and the waiter comes, and then he starts trying to open the bottle of champagne, and he couldn't because this little wire around and so on. And then so he tries, and he's starting to sweat a little bit, and he just can't handle it. And so I get the bottle. I take the bottle from him, and I said, I'll open it. So I remove the wire, and then I start opening the cork, and then he says, from here I know. So and so he starts he starts pouring the champagne to the glasses,
Yep.
and at one point he felt really bad, and he said, I'm really sorry, I couldn't handle that, and I'm from the village next door, and it's the first time I opened a bottle of champagne. And so they trained me, and so he was so genuine, and so he started explaining me this story about he's there, and then so my mother.
This is a very, by the way, Ballet is a very nice, nice location.
By the river. We were by the river.
Yeah.
And so we were only us were there, and then the glass of my mother-in-law was there, and she was sleeping. So I said, pour some of the champagne, and you have to try. Oh no! During my work, I'm not allowed to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Nobody will see. This is off the record.
It's your first time opening a bottle. You at least have to have your first glass.
I'm not giving
as well.
any names here, right? It was a long time ago, and so he opens the bottle of champagne. So he pours, and then he's, no, I can't drink. I said, at least try a sip.
Yeah.
And so he tries. He takes a sip. Oh, it's not bad. And so we just drank. Yeah. He drank that much. And what I want to say is that there was a true story. Mm-hmm. You go to Paris, Les Deux Magots, for example, and you ask for champagne. Some random guy will come. It will be the perfect temperature with the perfect glass. It will be the guy there will not be one drop out. He puts the bottle and he's gone.
You don't bother him. Story. He doesn't bother you.
There's no
you
story.
Have your champagne to sip on.
Here, even the fact that he failed to open the bottle of champagne, it was a real deep emotional experience because, champagne's from my country and he was opening it. And we started a connection. And so what I want to say is that, he there was so much more than opening this bottle of champagne the right way.
Yeah.
If he had done it the right way, why would I leave Paris?
Right,
I would have had. So
if you want perfectly opened and poured champagne, sure, there's plenty of places where you could go around the world, back in Paris, wherever.
You won't even remember the face of the guy or anything.
Yeah.
And so
you may happen to remember what it tasted like and the temperature and the flavor. You may not.
Maybe not even.
But on your birthday, what you remembered and what stuck out
is the relationship and how, and I think Cambodia is very much about that, is that there are stories that you build here which would be difficult to build in other countries.
Yeah.
And I always like to come up with this story about my birthday because it was very profound to me, this whole experience, even though I'm an hotelier. And so to me, that is how I relate to Cambodia, with the stories and the people and how we connect on minutes like that.
Yeah.
And I could say another story. I was with a millionaire who was going to be one of our partners, and it never happened. But anyway, we went to see the Tonle Sap Lake, and the guy is in a very high-end industry in France, and always invited in the best restaurants, the best hotels, the best openings, the Christian Dior opening, blah 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 blah, jet set, and so on. And we ended up in a minivan somewhere, and there was a parking. Quite filthy with trash, and there was only warm Coke to drink, and we were sitting on these small chairs, plastic red chairs.
Yep.
And so we drank the Coke. It was hot, and so we started talking about everything, and we got back at the hotel, and later on the guy told me, you believe it or not, it's the best day of travel I've done in the last 20 years.
Sitting in the heat, warm Coke on some plastic chairs.
But it was true. It was genuine.
Yeah.
And
he's
guy
experienced everything.
Yeah, and this guy travels in first class and best hotels and whatever. And usually he needs to compare the caviars and this is also why we're here. And those who make the little effort to get out of their normal schedule and a little bit off the beaten tracks, you have a huge reward of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
I think it was articulated very well. I think, what we could say is it can be a breath of fresh air, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We are. I think the average human being does enjoy and appreciate genuine human relational interaction
over a lot of other things.
I think as a human being, look, I can sit in front of my TV, I can play with my phone, I can drive my car. Those are all necessities or luxuries or whatever. But I think deep inside a lot of us, or most of us, maybe there's that desire for genuine human relation and interaction that oftentimes has no strings attached. Look, we understand business and we understand dog-eat-dog worlds, and we understand that, there's a lot of what people call drama out there and all of that. But when you can find genuine interactions with no or very little strings attached and just real, nice people with good intentions for each other, it's kind of a breath of fresh air, I think.
Yeah, rewarding.
Yeah, it really is. So, Cambodia, maybe two P's, the people and the places. There are places, there are locations, there are destinations here in Cambodia. And from, of course, the majestic, Angkor Wat temples and the ancient city up there, it is incredible. But there's a lot of other amazing destinations, both developed and some that, of course, there's the opportunity to develop. But then there's also the people. And I think it is a breath of fresh air for many that are able to discover and jump in like we have, Alexis.
Yeah, but it requires a little bit of effort.
Yep.
It's not.
Yep.
It's not available right there. You need to make a little effort to go beyond, and then you have the reward.
Yeah.
And
Alexis, what would be, maybe in closing here, what would be your message or even invitation to those outside Cambodia that may have, they may have different levels of familiarity to Cambodia? Of course, we have our Abampa Khmer. They're living outside the country, even, of course. But even more than that, those that aren't as familiar with Cambodia, or maybe their familiarity with Cambodia was a long time ago, and obviously a lot has changed as well. What would be your message or invitation to our friends around the world?
Yeah, it's always interesting to see. I meet some Cambodians in France. Some say, "Oh, I will never go back after all that happened," and some say, "Oh, I came back, and it's so different from the early '70s." And yeah, it's a country that has evolved. No country stays where it is. So, of course, for those who knew this or that period, it leaves positive or negative feelings. But I would say, yeah, probably the culture is still there. Everything is unchanged, but the country has changed a lot. I mean, especially the urban centers. So, I don't know, we say préjugés in French. You have ideas that are very set, but by visiting, you can revise completely your perspective and adapt to a reality that is today's reality. And so, yeah, we need competitors in order to grow, and not just because we need a stimulation. Me as an operator, I'm always, of course, cautious when I see competitors coming in and they will compete with me. But I think we need to reach a critical mass. And I always placed I knew very well the people behind Basak Lane, the brothers, Moon Brothers. And I was always telling one of them that you need a critical mass. You do 1 bar, 2 bars, it doesn't work. You need to create a destination, and the destination you cannot create alone unless you're a billionaire. But so you need to reach a critical mass in order to gain the visibility. So we need more people doing things in an original way, and we need more people coming in and developing, helping us, or competing with us in the hospitality industry, in the restaurants, in the hotels, in the activities, and all of that. And we have not reached this critical mass, and we need more people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, yeah, you have an oversupply of rooms, especially in Siem Reap and Phnom Penh. What are we going to do if more developments come? And yeah, but it's true that there's an oversupply, but there's an oversupply of the same. And it's not diverse enough. And so we need to have people coming in and doing things a bit differently so that our proposition is more diverse and complete.
Right.
And we have a lack in this. It's clearly identified. We need to have people doing weird stuff and more original stuff, so that we can reach this critical mass that will trigger our destination to be recognized as a complete destination.
Right.
This is what we need. So we need more people, but don't come and do exactly what's been done before. Come with a new mindset.
Bring something unique. Yeah. Well, be our guest in Cambodia. Of course, check out the MADS portfolio as well. There's some amazing destinations there, but come visit us in Cambodia and have a cup of tea with us. We're your friends here in Cambodia, and it's been great having you here on the Good Morning Cambodia show. អរគុណលោកអ្នកបងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាដែលបានចូលរួមទស្សនាជាមួយពួកយើងហើយសង្ឃឹមថាយើងនឹងជួបគ្នានៅលើកបន្ទាប់ទៀត. So it's been great to have you here, Alexis.
Thank you.
It's been a great
Thank
morning.
You very much for this opportunity.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation, a great cup of tea, and we'll talk to everyone next time soon. Som chum ne plia. Bye.